Fred is a better basketball player. There's not a GM in the league that would take Russell Westbrook over Fred VanVleet. Not one. Not one.
That's because of the contract. Oh, come on.
Russell Westbrook is a sixth man on every single team. It just happens that perceptionally speaking, his name is bigger than his actual skill set. Put that on the shirt.
Sometimes you have a guy that isn't helping you very much, but the perception around the league is that he won't help anyone very much. There might be a guy on your team that the perception of him is very good, and maybe he's not helping you as much. So I look at it more like an asset management sort of situation, right? Is a stock overvalued or undervalued?
Correct.
Right? So a guy like Fred VanVleet, for instance, right? Oh man, Raptor fans hate how I feel about Fred VanVleet.
I hate how you feel about. I just feel like because he's featured as the guy, you give him a lot of shit for it, but it truly isn't his fault. Like, that's what Coach Nurse is featuring him as, and it just happens that on a true contender, he'd be a 3 guy, like the third best player or even fourth best player. It's not his fault that he's featured that way. It's not.
Who are the true contenders? Brooklyn. If Kyrie Irving's healthy, he'd be coming off the bench. Okay. If Golden State.
Or
wait. So how
Brooklyn's not fair. I mean, Brooklyn's not fair. I mean,
why?
It's
no.
Because it's rare. Because it's rare. But it's rare when you have Harden and Kyrie.
Okay, let's be real here. You said
on LA he starts, right? Which again,
LA he starts with who? LA is not a contender. LA is eighth in the West.
They're not a contender, but like he definitely starts over Russell Westbrook.
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
Oh my God.
You're not. Yo, you are not paying the guy for. You think that they would have Russell
He's
Westbrook
a better
come off the
player.
bench? No, he's not.
Oh my God.
What does he do better than Russell Westbrook? That's
Everything.
Shoot and defend. But Russell Westbrook is a much better passer.
Everything.
No, come on.
Russell Westbrook is a sixth man on every single team. It just happens that perceptionally speaking, his name is bigger than his actual skill set. Put that on the shirt. Russell Westbrook's name is better than his skill set. That's a fact, not an opinion. Stop it.
Oh my God.
Is Russell Westbrook worth $40 million?
No, he's not. But he is not as trash as you think he is, man. Like you are getting washed into the perceptions.
Oh. No, I'm not. Russell hasn't been that good like in 3-4 years now. It just happens that he averaged a triple-double.
That's not even true. He had almost a career year in Houston, dude. Look,
you're the guy that hates box score stats, and that is exactly what he does. He is an empty calorie player, and here you are defending him because your hatred for Fred is so big that you can't like. It's not crazy,
dude. You know that I'm a guy who hates box scores, and I'm defending the guy. Should that tell you something?
Yes, that's telling me that you just don't like Fred.
It's not about that.
Fred's a champion. Russell isn't. That's simple.
Okay. So if Russell Westbrook was coming off the bench for the Raptors in 2019, you don't think they would have won the championship? Get the hell out of here, man.
No, because Russ would have ruined it for you guys. Russ would have never made the amount of threes, of clutch threes that, and this is a fact, he would have never made.
Shot above 50% 5 times in 24 games. That playoffs, he was shooting 10% against.
And Philly. I guarantee you, Russell wouldn't have hit one game where he actually had a game like that.
Okay, dude.
On that team, wait. On that team with Kyle Lowry, on that team where Kyle Lowry had the ball in his hands, Kawhi had the ball in his hands, Siakam at times was highlighted more as a second, third best player, and then Marc Gasol would work in the mid post. Where the hell would a guy like Russell Westbrook's playing style would have ever worked? Stop lying to yourself, brother. He would have never worked on that team.
It would have been a different team. But my point is, with that many great players, you would have made it work. And let's not forget, Russell Westbrook was, dude, are you kidding me here? Russell Westbrook was a starting point guard at 21 years old.
He's a cancer.
Okay, stop with your hating. 21 years old, he was in the finals. finals as
with
a starting point
KD
guard.
as the best player on the team. And guess who
Doesn't
ruined
matter.
it?
He was de facto the second best player, and that's not something you can say about Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet has never gone to the finals as the second best player. He hasn't gone to the finals as the third best player or the fourth best player.
I'm talking about right now. Fred is a better basketball player. There's not a GM in the league that would take Russell Westbrook over Fred VanVleet. Not one. Not one.
That's because of the contract. Fred VanVleet makes $21 million, and Russell Westbrook makes 44.
That's just because Fred is just better.
You understand that the Lakers pretty much chose to go with Westbrook over Lowry, right? I mean, you can argue that's a mistake, and I will argue that's probably a mistake.
Oh my God, that's a mistake.
But look, to anyone out there who hates Russell Westbrook, and I get it, because the media hyped this guy up like he was the next greatest player in the world, and people were like, but he's not. And now people go the extreme other way because he loses in certain situations. This guy is a winner in a sense too, because he's been to the playoffs a lot. Okay, yeah, he hasn't gotten out of the first round. You know who else hasn't gotten out of the first round? DeMar DeRozan. Like, DeMar DeRozan was like consistently in the first round, second round, and out. And there was a running joke. And now people are talking about him like he's so great because he's in Chicago. He's in the right situation. Look, at the end of the day, it's talent, okay? Russell Westbrook is a better passer than Fred VanVleet, and it's not even close. Russell Westbrook is an amazing passer. You can argue it's selfish assist, but his actual vision for the game
is selfish assist.
Okay, yes, he stat chases on the assist. I get that, but he's an incredible rebounder. You cannot deny that, and that helps. Okay, on a team like the Raptors, having a point guard who grabs 15 rebounds would really help us. Having a point guard who can actually see.
He also has Steven Adams, who boxed out everybody in his way to grab those rebounds, and there is film to actually prove that.
No, I understand that, and I will tell you right now that it is functionally relevant for your point guard to get rebounds. The transition time, like Tommy Heinsohn had this to say in his Hall of Fame speech. He was talking about how teams don't play fast anymore and how he finds it so ridiculous that teams don't allow their centers basically to run up the court because they waste so much time with the center, scanning the floor, trying to find the point guard, and they lose that precious 2 seconds of that first pass instead of just passing it up. And that's why teams that have guys like Nikola Jokic and Vlade Divac and these generational type of, big men who can pass the ball, even Marc Gasol, Pau Gasol, that's why it unlocks the game so much, because these guys, they don't have to waste the time. They can actually swing it up the court. They don't have to look for a point guard. They can find a streaking wing.
Fred's averaging 5 boards a game. That's actually not bad at all for a point guard.
Oh, it's not bad at all. He's been really good. And look, he's having a career year across the board. Okay. He's the only Raptor who's above 1 in box plus minus. He's pretty much leading our team in a lot of categories. He's been really good. His true shooting percentage, I think, is is team best. He's having a really good year. I'm just telling you, he's not more talented than Russell Westbrook, and that's not even close. You can argue he's a better player in terms of the role that he plays more within his role, but I could argue that
I'm not arguing talent. I'm just saying he's a better player.
I think mainly the difference is on the defensive end. Okay, Fred VanVleet,
which matters, which is the reason why the Lakers are trash. I mean, I've seen Russell already twice this year in person, and my God, he is literally 1A. Cole Anthony is 1B. These brothers just don't give a fuck about defense, and it's sad because Russell actually has the tangibles and the athleticism to give a fuck and play good defense. And to me, that is a loser at heart. I'm sorry. I cannot accept, and he would, Messiah would cut his ass if he would ever play with that type of energy on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but, it's on coaching too, right? I mean, I'm just saying
he just won the championship. What do you mean? There's no accountability for Russell Westbrook, who's been doing this for 4+ years now on the defensive end. He gets steals, and oh my God, no, he's not. Watch the game of basketball. He's not a good defender. He hasn't been for a long time. But if you just look at box score numbers, holy smokes, he is not a good defender.
I don't think Russell Westbrook's a good defender. I don't think Russell Westbrook necessarily wins basketball games. I just think that he's a better. When I say better, I mean more talented. Okay, let me just put that out there. The reason I say more talented is because I think that talent can be functional in different situations. So, for instance, Russell Westbrook in Houston, when they played with him pretty much functioning as the center on the team, right? That team was incredible with him playing that role, right? But if you play him the way that they're playing him in LA or the way they played in Washington, yeah, he's going to struggle. I think that's not necessarily on him. That's also on coach, right? It's on his coaches to understand what kind of player you have in him. I think, it's a weird thing, right? Like, I think he has a role probably as a sixth man. And honestly,
that's what he is.
Man,
He'd be a great sixth man.
He would be the best sixth man ever because he really does have like that, and his ego probably will never let him come off the bench, but his talent is incredible. He's one of the most talented players in the NBA.
Sure.
Like, hands down. Sure. As a scorer, downhill gravity, passing, just the touch around the rim is pretty decent. He's got a lot, he puts so much pressure on defenses, right? He's a special type of player, right? He is a unicorn in a lot of ways. You've never seen a player like him ever, right? So it's sad that the mentality that he plays with is one that's so conducive to losing. And Fred has been better coached, in my opinion, and he plays a better brand of basketball for the most part, but his talent is not even close, right? And the other angle, I would say, the angle for Fred over Russ is age, right? Fred VanVleet's a considerably younger player at this age. I think he's what, like 27 or 31 for Russell Westbrook, 32. So like, I would not make that trade, but I'm just telling you straight up, like, Fred VanVleet will never be more talented than Russell Westbrook. Like, that's never going to happen.
He doesn't need to be, though, and I just want to make that very clear to a lot of people. He doesn't need to be more talented. There have been considerable players in NBA history who weren't as talented as X, Y, and Z player, but guess what? They had better NBA careers, and by de facto, they were looked at as better basketball players.